listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Barrios, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamanti again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio. Welcome along to the Green Room here on FNR Football Nation Radio, the official Western United club show. Presented by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder. But this week, myself, Josh and Lockie, we're doing it all for Foodbank. It's food relief round on Sunday as Western United take on the Western Sydney Wanderers, and we're delighted to be joined by Melbourne radio personality, legendary Fox FM announcer. It's really an honour to have him here in the FNR studio, slumming it with us, turned Chief Communications Officer for Foodbank. Matt Tilley, welcome to FNR and welcome to the Green Room.
Thank you for being able to read my auspicious introduction there. I thought my handwriting might be a bit scrawly, but I'm happy. What did you call me? Radio what?
I think you're radio royalty. I'm not sure what
you should know. You wrote it for us.
I have different ones for different shows. No, it's lovely to be here. It's a great honour, and we're so grateful that obviously Western United and you guys are getting right behind us this round. It feels very comfortable being back in a radio studio. It feels very uncomfortable not being paid for it, I must say. But we're very excited about this round, and we want to try and make a lot of noise about it, partly because, obviously, a win this weekend, we jump ahead and we're well and truly on top. And that's a fair way into the season, but also because Western United have been fantastic. They've really, they've sought us out, and it's important to them to be a part of community, and we love being a part of them. And plus purple, green and black, they work really well together.
I want to start with you, though. What on earth possessed you to leave the glitz and glamour of commercial radio behind and go into a cause such as this?
As part of my parole conditions, first and foremost, just a couple of years giving back to the community.
So that's what the guy outside is doing. Makes sense.
That's right, and that's not a bracelet around my ankle. Look, it's a complicated journey. I don't want to bore people with it, but look, during my time in radio, we found lots of different ways to raise money for charities, and I used to do these prank phone calls, and all the profits from those CDs went to charities, and so I met a lot of people in the charity world. And Foodbank they're an organisation that was clever enough to disguise a boys' cycling weekend as a charity event. And so I got dragged along to that and met the CEO, Dave, and we really clicked. And he didn't know that I'd been quietly studying away business governance in not-for-profits and stuff. So I'd sort of had an eye on wanting to end up there one day. I just thought if I get really rich one day, I'll retire and do that. And it all worked except for the really rich part. But I'm a big believer in karma, and I want to have a nice, afterlife. But it's an incredible organisation. I mean, you go in there and it's in Yarraville, it's just under the Westgate Bridge, and most people think, it'll just be a little warehouse with a roller door. It's like 2 or 3 Bunnings stores big, our warehouse. It's enormous, and B-double trucks roll through all day, every day, dropping food off, collecting it, delivering it to 550 charities, from Mildura to Mallacoota. Some radio habits never leave, like alliteration. I'm sure you'll get some puns soon too. So it's great. I love it.
Why is this cause really close to your heart? What caught you? I mean, you've done so many charitable causes over the years. You've come into contact with so many different worthy causes for your time. Why does this one resonate so much?
Look, sadly, I'm a really tragic competitive vegetable grower, right? And it's not something I talk about a lot. And I guess because I knew Dave and stuff, but I liked the idea of going out and meeting growers and producers and being able to get their excess. And you know how we don't like a banana that's not bent right or a potato that's the wrong shape. And I sort of was always intrigued by what could be done with that stuff. But I'm not a warrior. I'm not a huge food campaigner or anything like that. It just makes sense to me. I think homelessness, the right to eat, the need for shelter, the need for support for people who have mental health issues. Like, they're just sort of some of the basics. They're all important. I don't see them one as any more important than the other. It's just this one had the best title on offer. Chief Communications Officer. You don't walk away from that. It sounds like a military title.
You get your own business cards as well?
I was going to say.
Do you know, I've still got the 200 in a box because I keep forgetting to use them. So we had
I would have taken one.
We had a fantastic function. There was like a business network Western United did during the week. It was great out there at the hangar at Essendon, and everyone was handing their business cards. I'm like, I've got some back at work.
Can you just wait a couple of minutes? I got to head back up the road.
Yeah, I usually get them to get bits of steak out of my teeth, but I guess this is what you really use them for, right?
Well, other than the business cards, how has the experience of being involved with the charity been over the last few years? Because it feels like, present events taken into account, never really been a more important time for this charity to be doing the work that it does.
You're right, but it's also created great opportunity. And that's when I started there. Dave pulled me aside. He said, mate, I think this thing's going to be pretty big. We might even have to wear masks.
Maybe.
And he said, I think that will be an opportunity for us. He actually quoted Winston Churchill, who said, never waste a good crisis if you can make change. So, and it has been enormous. And we've been able to do all kinds of things. We set up a pop-up store for international students when they, of course, were abandoned. They didn't get any help. They were stuck here. They couldn't go to school. All their traditional jobs like cleaning and hospo and all that sort of stuff shut down. And we had, in the end, it was just started as an idea at a little shop in Latrobe. So we had 60,000 students through. So we wouldn't be able to try new things like that. And so that's a plan we're going to roll out across Victoria now. We wouldn't be able to try that if it wasn't for COVID and there wasn't that sense of urgency. And the community has been amazing. The support's been phenomenal. And a lot of people, I love being able to say this, but a lot of people ring up and go, COVID's actually been pretty good for us. I don't like to say it too loud, but, we're this business or we're that business or we're online and it's gone crazy. But we know how hard people are doing it. We just want to support you guys and financial donations and opportunities. So it has been a really busy and interesting and amazing time. And we opened our warehouse last year for a couple of drive-through. When those lockdowns were really serious and a lot of people just couldn't get out, didn't have family or friends for food. And we had cars backed up from our warehouse up over the Westgate Bridge, about 3.5 kilometres. And the police ended up having to shut it down.
I remember seeing the stories at the time.
It was huge. We had TV choppers above us and I was getting NAM flashbacks. No, I'm not that old. But in that moment, there is a sense of exhilaration and being able to help, but it's also really hard to deal with when you're seeing people drive through, they're living in their cars, mums with 2 kids in the back, and you're thinking there's blankets and stuff in here because you're finding somewhere to sleep and you don't have any food. And everyone we see is so grateful. It's just the best. It really is quite uplifting and you get a bit teary and stuff because they just can't believe that you've got that for them. And I'm kind of like, well, I'm handing it to you, but there's a whole chain of people behind me in the community who donates who've been able to do this.
Well, I think it's amazing how generous people can be once they're made aware of the scale of the problem.
Yep.
And I noticed you brought in a very pretty infographic there. So why don't you rattle off some stats?
Only because I had it printed and I've got to justify the cost. Well, every year we do this thing called the Hunger Report, which is to actually put some, facts around it. And it's been extraordinary. COVID has just really blasted everything off the radar. And we saw early on in COVID, the number of people requiring food relief went up by about 47%, right? So that's enormous. At the same time, a lot of charities were closing because of lockdowns and COVID restrictions, and a lot of their volunteers are elderly, so they just seeped away and holed up in their houses. So it was really a critical time. But I think the thing that really hit home was 31% of the people who were reaching out during COVID had never had to ask for food before. And some of them were saying, we used to donate to you guys just a couple of years ago. Yeah. We never thought we'd be at your doorstep. And we used to hear that a lot. And we even, so now on the latest Hunger Report, we're feeding around, I'm going to read the stat here, 296,800 people a month.
A month?
Yes.
I was expecting a year at the end of that sentence.
No. And that's not every day, but that's how many people are accessing us each month. Sometimes 296 and 802, sometimes 798. We round it out. But it is, they're phenomenal numbers. And when our school breakfast program goes into 1,000 of the 1,500 government schools. So 2/3 of them have kids who have, on other days and before our program arrived, been told by parents, if you're hungry, eat a tissue or something that'll stop your tummy rumbling. How's that for heartbreaking? And then you think, no wonder kids act up in class and people throw things around like ADD and coming from bad families. They're just hungry. You can't concentrate when you're hangry. So to have things like that we can turn around where they get fresh fruit and cereal and milk all grown and produced in Victoria, that's fantastic to know. But not many people know about it.
Yeah. I mean, and to go back to what you said earlier about how certain people coming to Foodbank in need of support in the past couple of years have been people previously who donated. It's not necessarily, and I'll admit myself to being guilty of this, that sometimes in Australia it's not necessarily, shortage of food is not always something that you think about. And 1 in 6 adult Australians being, not having adequate levels is the figure that I read is astounding.
It's astounding, and what we found in COVID is like mental illness and depression. Hunger now, I don't like using the word hunger because we tend to think about how we feel at 3 o'clock or what happens in Africa, but the need for food relief or families doing it tough or who can't feed their kids, it's indiscriminate now because, if your business shuts down for 3 months, and you just run a restaurant and you're going, all right, it's the cash flow. And if you can't buy food, you can't buy food. And everybody saw what happened with the panic buying. Just for a minute there, we're all like, there's no pasta on the shelves here. What are we going to eat? And I think a lot of people have responded emotionally and gone, okay, I get it now. I just didn't know there was that many people who are like that day to day, month to month.
It's amazing when, you've been insulated from that all your life and then the panic suddenly sets in.
And it's something that's still going on now, even as we come towards this phase where we feel certain people feel more comfortable about everything. There are still those sort of shortages on everyday
100%.
items.
So this year's been a real challenge for us because of the different type of lockdowns and isolation with Omicron. Farmers don't want to pull stuff out of the ground because there's no drivers to deliver it to the supermarket. So for the first time ever this year, we were spending over $20,000 a week on fresh fruit and veg ourselves, which we can get about $90,000 worth just through our connections and because we don't take the premium stuff the supermarkets do. We've never had to do that. It's always been donated down the chain, but there was just nothing left. It just wasn't coming from the farms. There were no drivers. There was no people at distribution centres. And so we're like, okay, we're in the game now too.
Where does Western United come into all this and the recovery of the West and Melbourne as a whole?
Well, we're hoping that they finish last, have to sell their grounds and we can grow some corn and stuff on the soccer field. That's the long play. No, they've come to us because I think they are so grounded in community and because we're out west, so are they. But they also have bigger feelings and grander plans, and I really like it. It's a franchise that's grown from the ground up. It just hasn't been handed to someone rich as a plaything. And they are 100%. We're really impressed and really proud to be a part of this organisation because they get in and they get involved. We've got the game this weekend and we're not just on the scoreboard with a website. There's heaps going on. The players are involved. We had our big new double-length piano accordion style bus, mini mobile supermarket out the ground.
Well, I wanted to ask about that because, we've seen the buy-in from the players. We've got, a number of ambassadors, Ryan Scott, Leo Lacroix and Alyssa Dall'Oste, who will be joining us later. But we saw some photos of them in and around this bus. I need to know more because we know about the big warehouses, the B-doubles. But apparently this bus, the Foodbank bus, is a sight to behold.
This is my Keanu Reeves fantasy. Well, it just goes to show you how companies thought differently during COVID. And the story of these, we've got 2 of them now, and they're called articulated buses. You would have seen them with the piano accordion bit in the middle. And
I've ridden them even.
Yeah, and they're the ones that sort of go half over roundabouts because they're just so big and elongated. So Skybus, of course, didn't have many travellers to pick up during COVID. Apart from taking people to the quarantine hotels, not many drivers volunteering for that shift. And we had always had the idea of a bus, and I happen to know that, the CEO of Skybus, one of them, Mike Seward's, massive soccer man, big Liverpool man. He is a great friend of Foodbank, and they'd supported us before, and I said, have you got a bus? We'd love to just do a little pantry.
And 2.
Well, he turned up, he said, have we got a bus? And him and the co-CEO, Adam, he said, you'll hear us honking the horn on Wednesday, open your roller door. And we walked outside and it was this thing, it just kept going. It was like stretched out onto the road. And they're like, we've got another one. And so the engineering firm Volgren fitted it out, put shelves in, fridges, freezers, generators. And it's massive. It's literally a supermarket on wheels.
So how can people get involved if they're coming down to the game on Sunday? I understand there's kicks at the crossbar going on for people who donate.
I think there's a little bit going on at half time. That's what I've heard. I'll be up, hobnobbing at the chairman's president's function. We'll be auctioning stuff there, of course, trying to squeeze the corporate dollar. But, people can come along, they can get a sense of what we do. And, I mean, really for us, it's about donations. I know that sounds rude, but here's the thing. Here's what I can promise you. Every dollar donated, 2 meals created. So you donate $50, that's 100 meals. That's a couple of families being fed for a week. That's a pretty good feeling.
So you can accomplish that via the supply chains you have access to and the
That's
kind of
metrics.
economy of scale that you're dealing with.
Exactly right. By the time, obviously, we need to distribute it and pack it and sort it out and stuff. But balancing up the stuff that comes for free with the costs that we incur, even just like electricity and all those sort of things we have to pay for, that's our metric. And we've squared it away, and we reckon it's pretty good. So financial donations are the best and most direct way you can help. If you want to come and volunteer, you can jump on our website, foodbank.org.au. You don't have to just hand cash. We find now lots of people go, you know what, for my bar mitzvah, don't buy me any presents, donate to Foodbank. There's a million things you can do. People are a lot smarter than me. They know how to make money.
Well, we hope you get plenty of exposure on the weekend. But the greatest coup, I think, was pre-show when you turned myself and Lockie into walking billboards.
Yeah, you've got the tattoos on there, boys.
Shall we reveal them to the cameras?
I've got exposing a little bit too much of my own flesh here, but this is going to look bad when I go to get my booster and they just hit the big advertisement for Foodbank.
Oh,
That'd be a good thing,
great.
actually.
I think you've got better arms than me. I got like spaghetti arms, so they don't really count. But we were hoping some of the players would have them on, but most of them already got stuff. It's already been rented out.
Yeah, I don't think there's any free space available on Alessandro Diamanti anymore.
No, so unless they wear it on their forehead, but then I don't know, that might affect headers, I reckon.
I offered Lucy beforehand to put it on my noggin, but she said no.
No interest. Oh, well, I can't help you guys. And they only last a couple of days.
Well, everyone get along to the match on Sunday and get along to the website, foodbank.org.au. That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. Thank you for having us, and thank you for getting behind us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming in and joining us.
Pleasure, lads. See ya.
Matt Tilley, Foodbank, get on it. It's the food relief round this weekend for Western United. We're going to have Chris Pehlivanis and Alyssa Dall'Oste on
interview
after the break. A double bill coming up, so don't you dare go anywhere.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Long throw, goalkeeper's come, hasn't got there. Harry Kewell, and then poked home by Tim Cahill. Australia have done it. 6 minutes to go, and it's a landmark moment for Australian football. Tim Cahill has scored the nation's first ever World Cup Finals goal.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Penalty conceding kind of situation, but Atkinson did well. Oh my goodness! Have you seen a more freakish goal in A-League history? Riley McGreen with a scorpion kick into the top corner. It's one of the most amazing things we've ever seen. Come on, Ernie, on your feet.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
presented by Simonds. It's The Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio. Presented by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder. It is The Green Room here on FNR Football Nation Radio, the official Western United club show, and we're delighted to have a double bill here in the studio. We're so packed with guests today, we've bumped Lockie off camera.
The direct request from Chris. Move this guy out of the way.
I just wanted to share the studio with Alyssa about rising talents in the women's space, so thought why don't we do it together?
Well, I'm sure Lockie won't take his demotion too hard. If you hear a disembodied voice, that's him off screen.
Disgruntled murmurings over here might be me.
But we do have the CEO in-house today. We've had him on a couple of times this season on Zoom. But Chris Pehlivanis, welcome.
Thank you for having me in the studio again, and really excited to be here.
And making her Green Room debut, Calder United goalkeeper, Alyssa Dall'Oste, or Dall'Oste. Dall'Oste. I'll try and get that right for the rest of the interview.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Delighted to have you join us. 2018 MPLW Goalkeeper of the Year, is that right?
That is correct, yes.
And now you're playing with Calder United and training with the development squad with the women at Western United. Yep. Tell us a little bit about you, your career progression, and how you got to this point.
So I've been playing football probably since I could walk, to be honest, kicking anything I could. I started with an actual team when I was about 6, playing indoor, just on the field. Nothing, didn't go in goals until I was about 10. And then we didn't have a goalkeeper a game, and so they just put me in there, and I loved it. I stayed there. It's been, 10 years now?
It's funny how goalkeepers sort of fall into it sometimes.
You just get thrown in there, and you're like, if you like it, you like it. If not...
They say you have to be a little bit crazy. Is that true?
I've heard that too.
Is it true though with you?
Only when the mics are off.
Yeah, not on camera.
I don't know about crazy, but I think you have to be a little bit fearless to want to get yourself in the way of flying projectiles.
Yeah, 100%.
What do you enjoy about goalkeeping? Can you distill it down as to what the joy is in the position?
I like this. It's very high stress. I know that sounds a bit crazy, so that probably...
I think Chris is right. She's nuts. Go on.
But yeah, the high pressure, and I don't know, you just have to know if you like it or not. There's not really anything to it.
So you were at Box Hill, you went to Calder. It's sort of like being signed by Manchester United or something in MPLW terms. They're the dominant side. What is different about that setup compared to the rest of the league? Because there's so much success there. The quality of the players is obviously really high, but it's also a female-focused club, which is pretty unique in the Victorian scheme of things. What's it like playing in that environment?
I think that definitely plays a part in like the accolades that we've achieved. Playing for a club that isn't female-focused, the support that we get from Calder and the committee and the coaches is second to none. I haven't experienced that anywhere else. So I think that,
Has that helped your development, playing in that environment where everything's geared towards the women, all the coaching, all the support, everyone's focused on the women's team and their results and their development?
Yeah, 100%. There's been stages where I've played at clubs and had to fight for pitch space or club space or even physio sometimes. So even just not having that just keeps the spirits high.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, Josh, pick the Manchester United fan in this room trying to equate Calder, the best team in the MPLW, to being equivalent to Manchester United. You've got to update your references, Josh.
My favourite reference is still in the early 2000s, I think. It was more like being signed by Man City.
Look, if I was a Manchester United fan, I'd probably do the same thing. Let's not bring up the team that I support. We're going a long way back for the success, Arsenal, if everyone must know. I know, it's embarrassing. But Alyssa, the fortunes of Calder have been a long, long way from that we see of my club, Arsenal, in recent years. And throughout that all, the man in charge of the team has been Mark Torcaso. What's the experience been like of working with Mark? And, how do you find his style of coaching and how it works with your crazy goalkeeping game?
Well, it helps that he was a goalkeeper. So
100%.
He's just as crazy as me, if not even crazier. You know him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty hard question to ask Alyssa because she's got to say positive things. He's going to do it.
Yeah, he'll call me later.
He'll call her later and have a crack. No.
Yeah.
So from one crazy goalkeeper to another, is he encouraging you to dial up the crazy or dial down?
Definitely up. He definitely wants more from me, which is good.
More
crazy.
More leadership from the back, more shouting at your defenders to get in position, that kind of thing?
For sure. It's good. It's good. I haven't had a coach that's a goalkeeper as well, so he understands, how to implement us into the team training and get like what's best out of me. Even game days, like he can tell me, and I trust his opinion as well. So it's good.
Chris,
so excited to have that connection too now with the development squad, and hopefully when we announce our W League's license and structure and what it's going to look like, I think Mark will be very heavily involved in that, and we'll see the clear connection with Calder. And I think that's going to be what's exciting about this partnership, but also the opportunities for Alyssa and some of her fellow teammates.
what's that looked like so far coming into Western United with the development squad on the road, of course, to having an A-League women's team? How has that experience been? How has it helped you?
It's been great. Coming into a professional environment, so to speak, it's good for the girls to experience that. It's a nice stepping stone to what's to come at the end of the year. I think instead of being just thrown in the deep end of the level of NPL compared to A-League women, I think it's good for the girls to experience.
And you've played with a number of players who do play A-League women's in the off-season, so you know what the level is, you know what that's going to take. Where do you see your game improving to make that step up? Are you ready?
I think I'm ready, yeah. I think I've been ready for a few years. Haven't had the opportunity, but everything happens for a reason. Hopefully at the end of this year, it all goes smooth sailing and we get there.
Chris, tell me more about the women's development squad and what Western United are trying to achieve here.
I was just listening to Alyssa, and how good is it to the ability for us to give more girls an opportunity to play at the elite level? I mean, you just hear that, and for all the people ever doubting if Western or any other team wants to enter the A-League women's competition, I think giving people like Alyssa and her fellow teammates an opportunity is what we do it for. And I'm super excited to see these girls get the crack. I've got to meet some of these girls, and now they're in our development squad. We've had the opportunity to go to Tassie, playing Ballarat with these girls, and I can see that they're ready. And not only they're ready, they're going to embrace this, challenge. And with a little bit of experience that will be toppled into this team, I think we're going to have a really good team on our hands, and a team that will be very competitive. And I know Alyssa's ready, and I know she knows she's ready. They just need opportunities, and it's like a lot of young athletes. They just need opportunities to have a go, and that's what we're going to do next year. And I can't wait to see our girls run out onto the pitch for the first time. I think we'll all be there, and we'll be super excited.
Well, without revealing too much, you can only assume that the squad that you put out for next season is going to be based on this Calder squad that you've been working with. How much will that, I'll ask this both of you, how much will that continuity help hit the ground running with the program?
Well, for me, that was one of the big selling points for women's football, A-League women's football, is the ability to have that continuity. We, in the past, not us, but other A-League teams will, take a handful of Calder girls and train them for 2 months, and then they send them back to their clubs. Now we have a real opportunity to work with these girls for 12 months. So what that means is hopefully they'll improve their development, and then, they'll be listening to a similar voice, playing the similar style, and they'll continue to improve. And that's what we're excited about. So, we believe the majority of the team that will take part in our inaugural team will come through Calder, but the opportunities to bring as well talent from other areas. But we will really want to focus on Calder and girls from the west of Melbourne.
And Alyssa,
Victoria.
It must be great for you to, hear someone like Chris talking about these kind of things, someone with A-League women's ambitions of your own to be involved in a club with such a clear commitment to getting into that pathway and bringing that, core Calder side with them must just be an awesome experience for yourself.
Yeah, it's so great. I think it's good for us to have that time to prepare. Being involved in some of the A-League women's teams, there's been a short period of preparation for the season. So I think having, 12 months to prepare will definitely be good when it comes to round one.
And as a squad, it must inspire you all to push yourself to that extra level as well in training. Yeah,
100%. All the girls are pushing each other. We're pushing ourselves. I think it'll be good, yeah.
Well, before that happens, you've of course got an NPLW season to prepare for.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this campaign? You go in as favourites, but that comes with its own pressure.
No, it's good. I think for the last few years we've had a target on our back, and even for the Nike Cup we had the same thing. And to be honest, not a lot of people thought we would win, but we showed up, and
because you were missing all your best players and so forth.
Right.
And it turns out you actually had some depth there.
Yeah. So I'm excited for the season to start going. We've been preparing. Practice games coming up, and it's going to be good.
Excited. Well, the other part of your role here is as an ambassador for Food Relief Round with Foodbank Victoria. Tell us what this cause means to you and to be representing Calder United on Sunday.
Yeah, I think Foodbank is such an important charity. Hearing about the people that go hungry, I think everyone deserves to have an adequate access to food. And for me to be able to support that and help raise awareness, it means a lot to me. And for anyone that can, I encourage you to donate to Foodbank Victoria.
Yeah, and Chris, when we were speaking to Matt earlier, one of the big things that he earmarked about why this partnership between Foodbank and Western United works so well is that Western are a club who are not afraid to get their face out and about in the community. And it's something we've spoken about before. I mean, this partnership just seems like a really good synergy. How did it all come together?
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing synergy for our club and for Foodbank Victoria, because it tears on the heartstrings not only of our, our community in terms of our fans and members, but also our staff and players. When I go up to one of the players and say, hey, can you help us out with this activation with Foodbank, we get 4 or 5 hands up straight away. You know, in other times they're all turning their back and going the other way, which is fair enough. But that's what's exciting about this, because I think we can all relate to the importance of, helping people and improve, the current statistics about starvation. When I read these statistics, I still can't believe it. You got 1.2 million children out there that don't have adequate food. I think none of us would believe that that's true. And when you read that, you go, how can we help to make a difference? And that's why I think it's a really good partnership for us. And, we're going to do everything we can, little by little, but as our club grows as well, we'll be able to contribute more and more, and it's super exciting. And as we come out of COVID, I think we'll do a lot more in the schools area and a lot more in the community, which I think all parties that are connected to this partnership will appreciate.
Without wanting to stereotype, I mean, does this issue resonate even more clearly in the West, given that it is a working class area? You've got new migrants, certain people that are more prone to food insecurity issues in a time like this.
Yeah, potentially. Look, I don't know the ins and outs of which areas, but you'd assume that there'd be people in the West that are struggling as well. So for us, that's also important to focus on those areas. But I think it's a charity that we want to help. It doesn't matter where the kids are. In reality, we want to help the whole state get out of this problem, because I think when you read the statistics, it shocks all of us. So I think if we can play our little part to help in that journey, I think it's an important one. And just hearing Alyssa speak and Ryan Scott and Leah Lacroix speak about this matter, I think it's something that is really important for our club and our DNA.
Well, there's an opportunity to have a go at the crossbar at halftime as part of this promotion. Alessandro Diamanti made it look rather easy on you.
He probably had 15 attempts, and I won't say it. No, take that off. No. He does make a lot of things look easy on the pitch, and because he is phenomenal, our captain, and he's quite special. So hopefully someone can do the same thing on Sunday. And, hopefully we can raise a lot of funds also for Foodbank Victoria.
Well, Alyssa, those precision, long kicks are a pretty important part of any goalkeeper's game. Do you have any advice for the faithful few who have to step up and try and hit the crossbar on Sunday?
Oh, just trust yourself. That's it.
Just smash it.
Just smash it.
Psych yourself up.
Yeah.
It's crazy as possible.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't know if you're allowed to wear studs inside the ground as a spectator, Amy, but I find those halftime things, almost always do a John Terry and almost lose your standing foot. Everyone holds back a little bit.
I think that's why I've never put my name forward. I can't be caught on camera falling over in front of thousands of people. I can't afford that PR hit,
He's got to carry his boots with him everywhere he goes.
Well, I mean, Lockie's...
Do you want me to go get him? No.
Lockie's actually got the Western United gear on today, so I think he's still waiting for a call-up. If there's an injury crisis.
Need to stay firm on the ground is what I need.
For the men's first team coming into this game, so it's a big game as well. It's not all about the charity stuff. There's also points on the line and a title challenge to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, another 3 points on the line. I think the team's doing really well up to this point, but now it's important about consolidating this and going to the next level. So the next month is really important for us. I think the team's in a really good place mentally, physically as well. I think we've come out of the COVID period and embraced the challenges of COVID, and I think a lot of credit should be given to all the football department staff. John Aloisi as a leader, I think, has made a an amazing difference to the club, and he's been phenomenal for our culture and resetting the club, in particular from where we came from last season.
Alyssa, watching this team, you must be impressed with the defensive discipline on display and the goalkeeping as well. Jamie Young absolutely smashing it. So many clean sheets. It's unbelievable.
I know. It's crazy. It's good. It's good for us to look up to that.
Yeah.
Hopefully lead by example.
Are there any little tidbits that you've picked up on this season from Jamie Young? He's one that doesn't hold back when he's speaking to his defenders.
That's probably the most. Just that, yeah.
I feel like you've got some very particular influences around you, like very vocal Jamie Young, Mark Torcaso, a goalkeeper in the past. Like you've definitely got some people encouraging you to be as wild as possible.
Do you have any idols, goalkeeping idols in the women's or men's game growing up?
Buffon.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He's
quite good, isn't he?
Yeah. He's pretty good. He's all right.
He's all right.
I mean, but he has whole rituals and things. I think he wrote a ode to the goalposts or something when he retired for the first time before he came back.
Before he came back.
Do you have superstitions and things like that before the game?
I do, yeah. I have to put my left glove on first, and I have to touch the crossbar before the game.
Is there any history behind that? Is there a reason, or just one thing you decided to do?
and I had a really good game.
Yeah.
And then
usually is the way.
I just figured I have to do it.
It's just to show off the wingspan, really, just to show the opposition players they can't chip you.
Scare them.
Well, both of you, thank you so much for joining us here in the FNR studio. Have fun on Sunday. Raise money for a good cause. We'll be cheering on West United, and we're going to hear from assistant coach Hayden Foxe after the break, who we had a chance to speak to last week. He's got some tales of his playing career to share, including coming up against the likes of Thierry Henry, your beloved Thierry Henry, Lockie.
Yeah. Well, it feels like a long time ago now, but yeah, still holds a special place in there.
Gianfranco Zola playing for Harry Redknapp.
Yeah, he holds a less special place in my heart, to be frank with you, Gianfranco Zola.
So you're going to hear our chat with Hayden Foxe on the other side of this break and get to know the assistant coach a little better. He's got some great stories. So stick around for that here on The Green Room, presented by Simonds.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Ronaldinho gathers speed, past Ramos. Elguera comes to meet him. He goes past Elguera. Ronaldinho at his very best. Unstoppable.
You're listening to FNR, Football Nation Radio.
Since 1998, Lanco Group has been providing superior civil engineering solutions and advice to developers, local government and service authorities across Australia. Lanco Group is known for delivering sustainable, efficient solutions. By working closely with clients, Lanco Group is able to meet the complex infrastructure requirements for residential, commercial and industrial developments on time, on budget. Find out more at lancogroup.com.au. Lanco Group, your business partner for engineering solutions.
Are you looking to change your destiny in life? Be your own boss? Start your own business? If you are, you need people who understand your needs and are committed to helping you make it happen. At DKP & Co Chartered Accountants, we are more than just accountants. We are business advisors, taxation consultants, and strategists that specialise in setting up businesses. We understand the client and give them the very best customised advice and strategies to achieve their goals. Visit our website dkpco.com.au or give us a call today on 03 9023 9370. Fast, proactive, personal. That's DKP & Co Chartered Accountants.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Farias, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR, Football Nation Radio. For the final time this evening, welcome back to the Green Room here on FNR, Football Nation Radio, presented by Simonds Homes, the great Australian builder. We're going to throw our chat with Hayden Foxe. Nick mentioned your playing career there, and I have to bring this up because he's one of the great characters in world football. As you played for Harry Redknapp at not one but 2 clubs. He left West Ham and then he took you with him, right? So tell us a little bit about working with Harry Redknapp and what that experience was like in the Premier League.
Yeah, Harry was good. Harry had this unbelievable man management skill. He was incredible. He was able to bring players that other teams didn't want or were wanting to get rid of, and able to put together a team that complemented each other. And he'd often do that. He'd often bring in players, and he'd change the team from week to week. Wouldn't always be the same team, even if players scored 2 or 3 goals a week before, or you were man of the match the week before. He always put together his team who he thought could win the next game. He was a bubbly character. He's from obviously the east of London. He knew his football. He knew his football very well. He was a pleasure to work for. As it showed, once I left the UK, he went on to coach Tottenham in the Champions League, and at one point he was touted to be the England national manager. There was always many exciting times, funny times, and don't you worry when you didn't perform or things weren't going quite right. He would let you know, but in the right way.
Is there a particular line of his that sticks with you to this day? Anything that comes to mind that's broadcastable?
There is. One time we were at Portsmouth. I can't think who we were playing, and he was getting interviewed after training. So I think it was the day before a game, and we'd all finished, and there were some younger boys shooting at goal or having some shots or whatever they were doing, and one hit Harry in the back of the head in the middle of the interview. And he couldn't let it go. It hit him. He kind of looked around. He's thinking, blimey, where the hell did that come from? Anyway, so the reporter asked him the question again. But you could see he was frazzled, and he just couldn't let it go. And he got through halfway through answering the question again, and he turned around and he said, "Who kicked that bloody ball?" And someone said, "Oh, it was so and so." He said, "Yeah, well, now I wonder he's in the effing reserves." The goal was that way, not at my head. He was good. He was good, Harry.
Love it. On your playing career as well, you spent a little bit of time at Ajax as a young player. That was your first venture outside of Australia. Obviously, everyone knows the aura of the Ajax Academy. How special was that experience?
Yeah, I learned a lot of, I was very fortunate. I went to the Institute of Sport when I was 15, and I learned, I've gone from, community football and representative football with Blacktown City to going to some of the best junior coaching in Australia, which was Ron Smith at the RAS, and learned a hell of a lot about the game. And then I was very fortunate from there that I got an opportunity to go to train with Ajax of Amsterdam, and just as an experience for 4 weeks. And then I didn't think anything of it. And then at the end of the 4 weeks, they said, "Have you got an agent?" And I went, "No," because I was an Australian kid. I didn't have an agent. I didn't know. And they said, "Well, you might need one. We'd like to offer you a deal, and we'd like you to stay here." And I didn't really know what to expect. I did it tough, to be honest. I did it tough. I decided to stay. Spent 2 years there. Great learning, great development, hell of a football club, producing a lot of young players. But I was homesick, that's for sure. I was homesick. The first 6 months were probably the toughest of my life. I wanted to go back. I wanted to go back to Australia where it was going to be comfortable and easy. But like anything, you kind of stick at it. My dad, who was kind of like more the tough one, and my mum was the softer one in our household, when she turned around and told me, "No, you stay, you stick it out," I said, "Okay, well, mum's been a little bit serious here." So I stuck it out, and it was one of my best decisions I've ever made, because it would have been easy to kind of come back and have it a little bit easier here, but I stuck it out, and then you learn to cope, and that set me up for my career of being away for 15, 20 years.
It's interesting. We talk about young players and development, and I guess having this professional league back home where, it is so well run and so professional, would it have been easier for you to just pack it in and come home if the A-League had been there waiting for you, as opposed to a part-time league like the NSL
Probably.
was?
Yeah, probably. It would have been easier. It would have been easier, but that's not what I wanted. That's not what I was dreaming of. My dream was that I wanted to be a professional footballer in Europe. So I had to keep reminding me that's where I wanted to be. I was fortunate enough that I had played other professional Australian players in Europe at the time, and they'll help me go through this little period, because they would have experienced that when they were younger and when they were their first time away. So you're right, it would have been easier, but during that period, I kind of I put in my mind that I was staying there, and if it wasn't going to work out, then it wasn't from not putting the effort in and not from trying.
Absolutely.
What are some of your best experiences of those years overseas playing? I'm sure you would have rubbed shoulders with some incredible players. You obviously mentioned Harry Redknapp as a fantastic manager that you worked under. Yeah, give us a few. The most special memories.
Oh, some great memories. There's some great memories, and there's some really, really sad memories, which goes along with football. I was fortunate to get promoted with Portsmouth, and to see the elation, just the smiles and the elation of people's faces in that small town of Portsmouth, or small city of Portsmouth. It meant the world to them, And then, unfortunately, I got relegated with Leeds, and to see on their faces what it meant to them, and the agony that they were dealing with. You don't realise the actual how much the fans really are embedded with you, in the football club, because as a player, and there's not many players that stay at one club for a long period of time, and players come and go. But the fans and the people involved with the club are there for a lifetime. So the emotions of both high and low, they stick with you. Meeting lots of good people, lots of good people that I'm still in contact with today. And if I needed help with anything, they needed help, then, you'd give an arm for them and help and reach out. learning about different cultures. I know in Australia here we're very multicultural. I know that, but to actually go and live in various different countries with different cultures, you know, you learn to accept and you understand how people are thinking. So there's been some great experiences. We got to the Emperor's Cup final with the late Eddie Thompson. I played with Tony Popovic and Tony Vidmar, Aurelio Vidmar. The club had never had any success. So that was a big event for Sam Frecce. And then representing Australia and going to the Olympic Games, they were always, you know, very fond memories. Definitely playing for your country, green and gold. Always was close to my heart.
Well, I always like to ask central defenders who've had illustrious careers such as yourself, is there anyone who stands out as a direct opponent that you had the toughest time marking? It's a tough question to put you on the spot.
It's tough because there's a lot of different ones for different reasons with different playing styles.
Yeah.
So, you know, Thierry Henry, during his period when the Arsenal were invincible, he was virtually invincible, you know. And you used to think, I'll be honest, oh, I'll just go and kick him. But you think about it, when he was a young boy, he came to Arsenal and he was up against Steve Bold, Tony Adams, Martin Keown.
Yeah.
So he would have been getting belted every day at training. So you couldn't do that. And you couldn't get near him to belt him. So he just used to glide across the park. He was phenomenal. Zola was he was a talent. Because he could change direction very quickly. So you think you got him, he'd have his back to goal. And you think, no problem, he's going back towards his own goal. And all of a sudden, he just one movement left, right, or right, left, and he's on the other side of you. You know, he had that ability. And then there was big Duncan Ferguson, who you knew you were in for a game. Oh, he'd almost growl at you.
I don't think people need to have seen Duncan Ferguson play. They just need to see him on the sideline now with Everton. You know exactly what he's like. You know? Yeah,
but he was a good player. He was a good striker.
Yeah.
I know he was tough. He was hard, but he was he used to get himself into great positions. He was intelligent and lethal in the box.
By the same token, are there any teammates that jump out as any that you love playing with in particular? I'm not sure if paths might have crossed at West Ham with Frank Lampard, for example. Any of those young players that you thought, yeah, they were.
Paolo Di Canio, I played with him for 2 years, and he was unbelievable. He was so eccentric. He was a bit crazy, but he had so much ability, and he was he come with everything, so he brought his own fitness staff, his own masseur. He'd have his own special nutrition diet, and he was trying to tell everyone this, that, the other. But, and that were in the English days, and everyone would be drinking, and he'd be going crazy. Why are you going to drink? But he'd be there, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. That was Paolo. So, yeah, and then I tell this story about Frank Lampard, and it's so true. So he was a young player at West Ham, and he was playing regularly. So he was in the Premier League. We were, a mid-table team. One season, I think we finished 7th. So we had one of the seasons we finished quite high for West Ham. But Frank, so he was in the under-21s England team. He was pushing for a spot in the national team, the full men's. He was playing week in, week out at West Ham. You think most people would be quite satisfied with that. Not Frank. Frank, 1-2 days a week would stay behind, and he'd do these runs and these sprints because he wanted to get quicker, and he wanted to be able to play box to box. He wanted to be able to get on the ball, spray the ball, and then be able to get into the opposition box and score goals. Well, so he did this. I remember for the year I was at West Ham, that first year with him, and he'd be doing that twice a week. Boom, 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 boom. Well, he ended up being a Chelsea legend, one of the best players that England ever produced, and one of the best box-to-box midfielders that played in the Premier League. And he scored goals. And I remember that was his thinking. I need to get the box. And that I use him as an example because most players would have been, satisfied of where they were at. and he wanted to get better. He wanted to be better. He wanted to improve, and he wanted to really leave a legacy on his style of football.
There was a great clip that went around recently, which was, I think it was Harry Redknapp, who of course has got family relation to, presenting him at this press conference at West Ham. One of the journalists has a go at Harry and says, "Why'd you let all these, better midfielders go, and signing Frank, he's overhyped or whatever." And he got super defensive and said, "No, you know what? I didn't want to say this in front of him, but he is going straight to the very top." And I guess Harry Redknapp knew from the word go, right?
Yeah, there you go. Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, it's you just know, he had that mentality that he wanted to keep getting better. He came from a very good footballing family, mind you. But that's only one thing, having the talent, but to have the dedication, the mentality, that's another thing that separates the top players from the rest.
That was assistant coach Hayden Foxe talking to us earlier about his glorious career in the Premier League, some of the opponents that he faced and players that he played with. That is the level of experience that he brings to the dugout at Western United. And that wraps up today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the show and supporting Food Relief Round. Foodbank.org.au is the place to go to donate. Get on down to Western United versus Western Sydney Wanderers. Sunday kickoff at 6:35 p.m. at Amy Park for a great cause and a great team. And with that, we will sign off on the Green Room here on FNR Football Nation Radio, presented by Simonds Homes. And catch you again next week.
Western United, can they find something here? Big chance, Barissa! He's done it again! And it's a goal! Unbelievable! What about this? Dylan Barrios, his first touch of the game. Sanchez! Western United do claim the 3 points. And Diamante again! Oh, he's done it! Twice! He's chipped a keeper!
Presented by Simonds. It's the Green Room on FNR Football Nation Radio.